and in this video I'm going to show you how to set up this glitchy dithering effect with a nice hot isolated glow using Dither Boy. You can set this up on an image or on some text, and I'll show you both in this video. It's going to look exactly how these demos look on screen, but it's also going to be fully editable, so you can take it in another direction once you're done if you want. You only need Dither Boy for this, so you don't need any other apps. Obviously, because I'm going to show you it on some text as well as an image, I will quickly use Photoshop just to add a gradient to some text. But if you're working with Affinity or like anything that can create a text layer, then you don't need Photoshop. You can use whatever you've got. And as always, I will leave everything linked underneath the video. So to start with, you are going to need to come to the Studio AAA community page, which looks like this. You just go to studioAAA.com and click on community, or just go to studioAAA.com/community. You will land here. It will be the first link in the description as well. Once you're here, if you just scroll down to the free Dither Boy downloads, for me it's the first one in the list because obviously it only just went out for me, but you're looking for the glitchy Cyberpunk presets. There might one day be a search bar here because I'm putting quite a lot of free stuff out here for Dither Boy, so I might need to add a search function pretty soon. But yeah, click on the glitchy Cyberpunk presets and you'll land here where I do explain the effect a little bit. But if you scroll down, you'll see you can download the effect preset and you can download the Cyberpunk palettes. Go ahead and download both of these here. It will just ask you to prove you're not a bot, and then you'll get the downloads in your browser. They don't need to be emailed to you or anything like that. And then load up Dither Boy. So I'm going to show you how the effect works, and then I'm going to show you what on text afterwards. And I've got this image. It's just a stock image from Unsplash. And the reason I've picked this one is because there is clear highlights sort of on the rim of the subject here. There is a clear background that is not entirely black, and there is obviously a silhouetted subject which in parts is entirely black but still kind of has some lighting going on. So the effect that you're going to build is going to connect the highlights. Basically for this one it will work particularly well because obviously the fingers can hopefully connect to the subtle highlights on the side of the head, or like the arm can connect to the body and that kind of thing. So basically when you're choosing your own image, just make sure there's clear highlights. Don't go for anything that's like blown out, everything lit up, or just overexposed basically. So I've already got the presets installed, so I can come down to presets and just find them here. But to install the presets that you just got, if you click on the settings cog at the top right here, just above your layers and stuff, go to library. Mine's a whole mess because I save stuff all the time, but if you then just click import preset and browse to where you saved them from my site, you can import them that way. Once you've done that, they will appear here in the list named Dreamy Cyberpunk Glitch 2 or 1. I couldn't think of a name for this effect, so that's the name it got. And when you click load, this is likely the type of result you'll have. So there's far too much going on here. We're going to tweak this in a minute, but the other part of this, you downloaded some color palettes as well. If you want to import the entire Cyberpunk category of dithering palettes, just click on import palette, go to bulk import, and either do folder or zip file depending on whether you unzipped the file you got from my site or not, and browse to where you saved the Cyberpunk palettes to, and you'll be able to install the entire Cyberpunk category, which has a lot more than just this one breach palette. But the reason this palette works so well is because it's a very dark black into a dark gray and then a light gray followed by some intense red and orange. So the way that the uniform modulation algorithms distribute that, we're able to draw these lines between the highlights and then pick that up with the glow. So I'm going to show you how to get this to work for whatever image you're on. So if you had a starting point like me for your image where there's too much orange, you are going to want to lower the brightness, up the contrast, or lower the midtones. If you loaded into an image where it was all gray with not enough orange, it's the inverse. So you're going to need to up the brightness. You might need to up the contrast or lower the contrast. It's going to depend a little bit, but you'll also need to up the midtones. Obviously, there's a lot of personal preference here, so you can tweak as much as you like. I'll show you some examples on screen, but when I do this, I quite like to get a very limited or very small number of like the orange strings going so that it's not an orange image, it's a gray image with these orange sections on it. This is still a bit too much for me, so I'm going to lower the midtones and lower the brightness. But as I up the contrast, I'm probably going to have to then up the brightness a bit again as well. It's like just a balancing game until you find what you like, really. You can also mess with the line scale, and if you enable the smoothing factor, you can turn the bleed fraction all the way up and get some like cool glitchy results out of this one as well. So I just scrolled straight past this one, which was pretty cool. So if I go too far on the line scale with the smoothing factor and the bleed fraction, I end up with too many lines. But yeah, I'm going to leave it at something like this. Obviously, I've already dithered this image, so I've kind of done this one already. But essentially, once you have landed at a point that you're happy with, you are going to come into the epsilon glow settings. And the main controls you need to look at here are threshold, radius, intensity, and epsilon. So epsilon for this setup is basically at a very low value is going to give you this white hot glow in the orange, and if you turn it up, the glow will end up being more subtle. Basically, you can also mess with the distance scale. It does what it says on the tin, it increases the distance or lowers it. But for the kind of effect that I'm getting, just make sure you don't go too low or too high on the threshold, because you will either cut out the orange or you will end up including the gray in the glow. You need to have the threshold just sit at the right point so that you're picking up some of the brighter values in the orange lines, but maybe not every orange line, or maybe not the entirety of, you know, like all the highlights that you've got here. So with my current setup here, you get these like nice hot spots here on the right under this elbow, and down here between the elbow and like the hip or the torso. So like I said, if you look at the before image, it is literally just drawing these lines between the highlights. For this image, I have chosen to go with the uniform modulation Y dithering algorithm. The Y in the name there just refers to the axis along the image that it's gonna dither along, basically. So if you change this to the X axis, they will go in the other direction, which does look cool for this one, but it doesn't really work for like the pose of the guy in the stock photo. So I'm going to leave it at Y, though I probably will export with that X one as well. These are mirrored dithering algorithms, so when you change from X to Y, you won't need to change anything in your settings. They're the exact same algorithm, just in different directions, basically. From here, if you have landed on something that you like or prefer to mine, then you can come down and just hit save preset and just call it like Dreamy Cyberpunk 3 or whatever you want. Hit save, and then you've got your own version of what I made. So I'm just going to quickly show you a good way to get it going on text as well. I'm just going to go file and clear to wipe that, and then open Photoshop. So I wrote this out before just to make sure I actually had something in here, but I've just got a regular text layer. The font I am using is called Dharma Gothic M. It is on Adobe Fonts, but there are some similar ones as well. I use like Druk, which is very similar to this. And I'm going to go bevel and emboss, and I'm going to go color overlay and set the color overlay to red. And then in the bevel and emboss, I'm just going to turn up the shadows and the highlights, and then just lower the size until I've got this very clear line of highlights along the top of each character. So if you've watched a lot of my videos, you've heard me say this before, but red is generally the best color to dither on shapes, because red is the middle child essentially of luminance. Most dithering algorithms use, well, all dithering algorithms, but most effects that you work with that come with a threshold slider or deal with things like halftone or dithering are going to rely on luminance. Luminance just means brightness, and the brightness of a pixel is determined by the red, green, and blue values. Green has the highest contribution to luminance, so if we did bright green text, the resulting dither would be quite flat, but it would be quite full. Blue has the lowest contribution, so if we did blue text, it might be cool patterns, but you might not be able to read what was on there. So we go for red because it's in the middle and it has like quite a lot of midtones when we apply the bevel and emboss on top. I am planning on doing a whole video about red, so bear with me and I'll upload that eventually. But from what I said before, because it's going to draw these lines between the highlights, you are hopefully just gonna, if I'm right, if I know what I'm talking about, you're going to get the cool orange effect going across the top of all of the letters and like some of these sections, like the bottom of the G here, the bottom of this little section on the C. And if you wanted to tweak that, you could just change the angle if you want it to be a bit more harsh and stuff. But yeah, it's all personal preference. I'm more just trying to show you how the effect actually works. So I'm going to go for this one because I know it'll be safe and boring, but I would encourage you to do something a bit crazier once you understand and can see why the effect works how it does. So back in Dither Boy now, I'm just going to import that text and then scroll down to presets, and I can load either the one I just saved or the ones that I got from the site. And if I literally just load Dreamy Cyberpunk Glitch 2 default settings on this exact text effect, you get all these orange streaks going across each of the letters, with the rest of the letter just being rendered in the gray from the palette. And this is basically going to match up to where the highlights are in your bevel and emboss. So if I reopen Photoshop now and we just use the X here as an example, so you've got brighter white sections at the top, 2 forks of the X. The red gets a little bit more intense on the way out of that bright section, and it's pretty boring through the middle, and it goes a little bit darker at the bottom. Obviously there's some subtle highlights along the edge and stuff as well, but in Dither Boy it's mirrored that. So the subtle highlights along the edge have got these orange and yellow lines, which is being picked up by the glow, and then the strong highlights at the top are 100% being picked up. If we increase the brightness now, it will overexpose the text, and so the lines are no longer like exclusive or rare. So we keep the brightness low just to make sure that, you know, you're not blowing out the whole thing. You're not just trying to render this text out in orange. From here, I can go and do what I did before. So tweak the threshold just a little bit, blow out the radius and the intensity, and then just like continue isolating the threshold to only the brightest pixels. And then we can tweak the distance scale if we want it to travel further, or we can lower the epsilon if we want like a really bright hot glow. But yeah, from here, it is yours to mess with. This one doesn't work particularly well with the X-axis dither. It only really works for the Y one, obviously just because of how the letters are drawn. But yeah, I'm trying to explain these in a way where hopefully you can take my preset that everyone who uses Dither Boy gets and make something of your own with it and tweak it to your liking. So with this one, it's not just a tutorial that's like, here's how to do this effect. It's the tutorial and a little explainer of how it works with the color palettes and more than one demo as well. So hopefully this is more useful than usual for you. If you like this kind of thing, if you enjoy the tutorial content that I post on YouTube, please go to the community page that I showed you earlier. If you download and use the stuff that I make there, I will make more of it. If you make anything with this effect, or if you use it even in your own way where it's not recognizable, please send it or tag us in it online. I've finally, after all this time, started sharing some of the stuff people make more on social media, so I'm trying to do more of that. I'll leave everything linked below that I mentioned today, and thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.